Hey guys, Isabelle Fox here, and today you're going to learn how to become one of the top 20% of escorts making 80% of the money. Some of you may have already heard of the 80-20 rule. For those of you who haven't, I will explain it for you now. Basically, back in 1895, a guy called Vilfredo Pareto noticed that in virtually all economic activity, 80% of the wealth was controlled by 20% of the population. Since that time, it has been proven time and time again that the 80-20 rule applies to almost any situation. Now, this applies to not just money, but to many other scenarios. For example, it's been proven that in most instances, 20% of the activities you undertake in a particular field accounts for 80% of the success or results you generate. I actually first noticed this myself when I was 18 and began working in a brothel. It became really clear really quickly that just a handful of the same girls tended to get the majority of the bookings all the time. Every shift, you'd have the same girls getting picked, getting called up into the room. And at first, I really couldn't figure it out. Now, you've probably noticed this yourself in the industry as well as other areas of your life. In fact, when I began to think it through, I also realized that out of the activities I performed during a booking, I tended to get asked to do the same 20% of services that I offered for 80% of my clientele. Now, our industry is no exception to this rule. In every brothel and agency I have worked in, 20% of the people working tended to get 80% of the work on offer. And even now, with the girls that I work with, there is a top 20% of them who dominate 80% of the work that is on offer as well. So naturally, if you want to become one of those top performers, the next question that follows is exactly how do you do that? What do they do to achieve those results? I'm going to share with you step by step what I've personally seen these people do time and time again to reach that position. These are the same steps I began to take once I noticed this trend and decided that I too wanted to be one of those top performers. The great news is this: anyone can do it. It's really not complicated, and I've seen girls go from being bottom earners to top earners just by applying these principles. Now, before I go through them step by step, I want to address the most common objection I hear from people all the time in our industry. And it's that our industry has too many girls now and that it's just too hard to make money. This is called a saturated market. And to that I say, you need to change your thinking. I'm going to share with you the power of a saturated market and how this can actually work in your favor. The sex industry has become saturated due to two reasons. Firstly, is that actual entry into the industry is practically speaking exceptionally easy. You don't need training, you don't need education, no references, and oftentimes you don't even need ID or a background check. For instance, with some brothels, you can literally just walk in and start a shift straight away. Now, technically, you're not supposed to do that, but there are brothels around that will let you do that. The second reason is that as our society develops, stigma is changing. People are becoming more open-minded and women are becoming more progressive. Even laws are changing around all kinds of things, not in all places, and I am aware that obviously in some places laws are getting stricter, but in many other places they are becoming more open-minded and progressive. So all of this results in more people being willing to do the job. And what this all means is that lots of people are jumping in to make a lot of money really fast and really easily. This is actually great news. Because when people jump into something to make quick and easy money, they generally do so with minimal commitment or effort, which means that the majority of people you're surrounded by aren't trying their hardest to deliver value and exceed expectations. I used to work in the fitness industry, and what occurred within that industry was very similar to ours. You can do a 6-week online course to become a PT, and then you're fully qualified. You can begin charging people for sessions straight away. So the fitness industry as well became flooded with a lot of people really fast. When I first started, I felt totally overwhelmed by the apparent competition. That was until I saw how the majority of people actually approached their job. And it became clear very quickly why in this industry as well, 20% of the people got 80% of the business. It was the ones who invested in themselves, their businesses, and their clients. So my message here is really this. You can use the fact that you're surrounded by a lot of people making minimal effort with their clients to your advantage. If you become one of the few of many going above and beyond to offer an exceptional service to clients, guess who all the clients are going to want to see? You can outshine all your competition. So let's go through now what the top 20% of escorts are actually doing to get 80% of the clients. 1. Focus on value, value, value. Your client is not a human ATM. Think more about what you can do for your client than you do about how much you are getting paid. And in turn, you will actually end up being paid more. Top escorts genuinely want to give their clients an exceptional experience, and it shows. 2. Take care of how you look. It would be naive of me to not touch on appearance when discussing how the top escorts succeed in their profession, whether it's fair or not. The reality is that when you're selling sex or anything related to that in that industry, a huge part of that equation for a large part of the market, I'm not saying all, but for a big part of it, is whether or not your potential client finds you physically and sexually attractive. The good news here is that attraction accounts for much variety, so that includes a wide range of sizes, shapes, ages, ethnicities, styles. But do not think that you can get by on a great personality and a good service. Top escorts take pride in their appearance, they prioritize their health, and they understand the visual component is important. 3. Be on time. Escorts are notorious for being late. Don't be, and you're already running circles around most others. Time management is a skill you can learn and that can actively make you more money. P.S. If you have a phone, which you obviously do, you have the time on hand always and there are no excuses. Ironically, escorts complain all the time about time-wasted clients who are late or who stuff them around, when actually many escorts do this to their clients. If you set a higher standard for yourself, you will find that your clients treat you better too. 4. Learn to read your client. Top escorts know how to read their clients and tailor a service that fits that individual client's needs. Some clients will tell you exactly what they like and what kind of experience they want to have, but many will not. In fact, I'd say more often than not, they don't tell you exactly what they're looking for. So once you're with them, it is your job to figure that out and then deliver it. A good place to start is to generally mirror your tone, pace, and behavior to that of your clients. So for example, if your client walks in and he has low energy, he's relaxed, he's speaking softly, then if I'm with him, I will match my behavior to his. I won't overpower him by being intensely excited and high energy. However, if my client arrives super happy and upbeat, then I will be that way too. People tend to like people who are similar to themselves. Now, this is not being inauthentic. This is an important social and professional skill that you can learn, and you can actually apply this outside of your job as well. Now, the best book I've ever read to help me in this was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a really famous book, and I highly recommend it. 5. Pay attention to the smaller details. Firstly, just use your client's name. Babe is a title used by lazy people and clients see straight through it. It is literally one word, just memorize it. If they ask for a special request, just fulfill it. Of course, provided it's within reason and within your offered services, but don't just skip it because it's inconvenient. There will always be someone else out there willing to go the extra mile that you won't, and eventually your client will end up seeing that person instead of you. Now, if you do have a poor memory, which I know that some people do, actually write things down about your client, especially if you're seeing lots of clients all the time. You can't be expected to remember everything. But this can be useful when upselling or trying to encourage repeat business in the future. And what I mean by that is, when you're listening, clients give you clues about themselves and what they like and what's important to them. I've had clients tell me that their birthday is coming up, which gave me a really great opportunity to contact them and wish them a happy birthday and suggest a meet. This was great because they can tell that I've gone out of my way to remember something important, and then I've also given them a reason to want to see me again at the same time. All of these tips benefit your clients greatly. However, they ultimately actually benefit you even more because happy clients means regular clients booking you and further business. I really hope you liked this video, guys. These tips really are quite easy to implement and literally anyone can do it. All you have to do is decide you want to, make a commitment, and take action. And you will be on your way to outshining everyone else and joining that small 20% of escorts at the top of the marketplace, dominating all the work.